Hey guys, welcome to another video here today. Welcome to channel. Hope you guys are doing great, doing wonderful here today, and had a great weekend. I mentioned in the last video that I wasn't going to be doing a Monday video. Today it is Tuesday morning. I did not do a Monday video because it was my birthday. So yesterday, basically, yesterday was my birthday, and I decided not to. No, I decided to relax and just have a good day, basically. But cool, I am back here today on Tuesday morning. Really, we can get started. Guys. Let's jump into the Trello board and just figure out what we need to do here today, or this week, I guess I can say. So last week was milestone 2 of farming week 2, or milestone point 2, I should say. So for planting, plants can be watered now. So now when you plant a seed, if the soil is not watered, it's not going to grow until you actually water it. Make this green. That's good. And saving is great, so I'm excited about that. So basically I have everything I need when it comes to crops, right? I can plant any type of crop. I just need to wait for it to be harvested, and I can retrieve the fruit or veggies or whatever it's gonna be. So I guess the next thing that I continue with this is be able to figure out what to do with these fruits. As of right now, there's no functionality with it, but I don't know if I should continue working on the next part of what to do with the fruits just yet. Just because there's no NPCs, you don't take damage. There's no shop for you to sell these items to, or you have no functionality of what to do with these fruits or veggies or whatever. So until then, I think I will just pause on that and come back to farming when that time comes. I can easily just put maybe just a quick UI for a shop where you can sell and buy stuff, basically. But that's super easy, and I can do that. I could also, for seasonal, it's also not that big of a deal. I can probably do that later on when it comes to seasonal crops. And basically that's what I'm thinking of right now. I think it's so right now I'm gonna put a pause on farming and continue what's gonna be next. But this is good. Farming week 2, it is good. So the next thing I really want to tackle, and it's one of the big boys when it comes to this game, since I mentioned that I want to do procedural generation. That's something that I would like to do. I don't have to do everything that's in here yet. I just wanted to put it in front. Okay, let's put it over here. Let's make a new card. All right, so for this week, for procedural generation week 3, that's basically what I would like to start tackling, since that's another thing that I would like to add in my game. Basically, every time you load into a new game, and the world's going to be different, right? It's not going to be the same. I don't know if I want to create an infinite world. I might have mentioned it before, just that I will have to think about that a little bit more, how I want to do that, because if I wanted to have some type of story here, I think it'll be a little bit more difficult trying to do that when it comes to a world that is infinite. Maybe not. I just have to think about it a little bit more. Maybe I create another option when you make a new game if you want it to be infinite, but just no story in it. You just want to build stuff, farm, and all that. That's all you want to do, and just be able to navigate through the world. That's something to think about for later on. Let me know what you guys think of that. I would like to know what you guys think about that. If you want to have like a story-based option and an infinite world option, or do you just want one of them over the other? For you to what do you guys have any thoughts of that in the comments, and definitely would love to read what you guys are thinking. But yeah, today, so there's a bunch of different ways to do procedure generation, and depending on what you do, I just gotta figure out which one is the one I want to use. So I think I would just like to start doing a height map generation, and be able to use a height map and do some type of generation using that to determine what's going to be water, what's going to be the earth, and be able to use that to determine what kind of trees I want to put in here and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so I'll be able to just generate new height maps every time and be able to create the world using that. So let's start off with that and see how that looks, and then we can figure out if I should continue forward or start tackling other type of generations. So yeah, let's get started, guys. Let's get started. All right, so the main idea here is be able to use these noise functions that Godot provides and the textures that it provides, and be able to use this as a height map. As you can see, Godot provides a noise texture that you can use, and you can modify all these values here to generate different types of noise textures that you want to use. So down here is like a certain noise texture that uses a simplex noise, and if you're able to change the seed and all of that, you start changing to a different height map and all of that. Or it's a noise texture, but you can use it as a height map as well, as you're modifying all these values and be able to tell it like what do you want to do and all of that, all of this cool stuff that you can do with it. And you'll be able to use this to determine what you want to display on the field or on your terrain, basically. And let's show a different type of height map that you can use. So this one here, you can see it goes from black all the way to white, black being the lowest value on the texture map and white being just the highest value. So usually it goes from 0 to 1, and if it does, then you can map it to 0 to 1. And basically, if you were to lay this to a terrain, you can see this, you can start seeing, hey, it starts forming, it's like a mountain. So like I mentioned before, the height map gives you values from 0 to 1, and you can use this as a position of the y coordinate, and it provides this cool terrain feature here. This is in 3D though, but if you were to do it in 2D, then all you have to do is just basically change the color and different terrain pixel art, basically. So it's going to go from sand to water or whatever, to dirt or grass or snow. If I were to bring back the another height map with a color on it, you can then start seeing like, hey, you can see the blue part being where it was mostly the darkest part of the height map, all the way to the top of the mountain where it was the lightest and the widest part of the texture. And it starts forming these cool terrain textures, and you have to use that as your level, basically. So this is another texture that you can use if you're able to see it from the side with color on it, and you can see like this noise textures provides all this cool stuff that you can do. So cool. So let's dive in and into the game. This procedural height map ended up showing up for me this time, so we can check out this map that I created with this height map, which is I'm trying to figure out what's a good way to lay out some maps in here and be able to place the trees, be able to plant crops. And I know this looks like it's a road, right? It's like gonna be a road, but technically, since this is soil, you can consider this to be like, hey, I can plant and farm in here on all along this path. And the beginning, if I want to create like maybe instead of creating a path, would it be fine if I'm able to farm through this path? Or should I create just a different tile or path only, and maybe create a little section where I can plant crops and all of that? But I mean, if you want to make a farm, this is not enough to create a farm. Basically, you need a huge one, right? Or a bigger one. So I can regenerate this map again. So once I press generate, it will generate a new one. And we would create, I mean, this is pretty cool. It creates like almost this kind of almost island looking like place with this river, or I don't know what if I want to consider it an ocean or whatever. But it was cool. I mean, I was able to lay out different type of trees in here. I had different type of grass and maybe some flowers on it. I'm not too crazy about all of this stuff that's in here. I mean, theoretically, I can get in the game if I want to and be able to, test out this world. There's no collision, so I can actually go in the water right now. I'm trying to figure out. Also, I can't click anywhere because there's no navigation regions either, since this is a procedural world, and I gotta figure out what exactly I want to do with that. But yeah, so basically, I can roam around and be able to figure out how this actually gonna look like in here, or how I want it to look like. And it's super cool. I love that this effect. Eventually, I might create a shader that is it kind of transparents the trees or whatever, so you can still see your character, or maybe just be the silhouette of the pair or the player. Well, we will see. Anyways, I'm just my mind just jumped up to a different place. Anyways, I think I'm gonna like to jump into another type of generation here, but it'll be something that I'll be doing tomorrow. And just to let you guys know, this procedural generation can take up the entire week to be able to find something that I need, that I like, but this may end up taking my entire time in this entire week. Cool. But it looks cool though, right? What do you guys think about this? I mean, it's not something that I would like to put in the final. Yeah, maybe I can tweak it a little bit more to make it look better. There's still so much things I want to like to do here. Maybe some shaders in the water. Maybe you can see through the bottom a little bit more. But that's something that could be later on. I want to get this world in a good place. It is Tuesday night, and I take a break. I spent all day trying to research and trying to see how this works and how to do all this stuff today. So tomorrow I'll do more research, be able to look into wave function collapse and see how that works. But cool, guys. I'll see you guys then. Hey guys, so it's a brand new day today. Today's Tuesday morning. Excited to jumping on this day on a brand new day. So the goal, and it's not really a, I mean, even though a Trello board's open, but it's not really a Trello board day today, just because the main task for this entire week is to figure out this procedural generation, right? And testing out different types of procedural generations that are out there. So yesterday I tested out the Heightmap one. With the noise and all of that and see how that looked, and it looked fine. Today I want to tackle wave function collapse. That's a new, I guess, algorithm that I would like to look into and see how that looks. I've never done it before or implemented one, so I hope I can do that in one day or in 2 days min max at least. I would like to just dive into that and see how that's going to be looking like. But cool, let me keep it short for Tuesday morning, and let's dive into it, guys. Let's dive in. All right then, guys. It is Friday morning, and it's been a couple days since the last time. It is this one took a little bit longer because I needed to do a little bit more research, and I did took some time off as well. I ended up, getting busy and other things. So, but yeah, I got it to a good place with this wave function collapse that I mentioned that I was going to be working on, and I think it's pretty cool. I'll tell you guys a little bit more about it as I'm going through this video, or this day basically. But I wanted to talk to you guys what is a wave function collapse, for those of you that don't know what it is. So I'm gonna do my best to explain this in a very simple manner. You have all of these possibilities. By possibilities, I mean all the tiles that you have for this level. So you can have the grass, you can have dirt, sand, water, the coastlines. Let's pretend that's all you have for now. So those are the possibilities, right? So a wave function collapse, it chooses a random tile position, whatever in the world, and it will randomly select one of those possibilities. And then after selecting that tile, it will then check the neighbors to determine what that neighbor tile should be. And we already know what the first tile is going to be. Randomly selected, and it will constrain its neighbors. And by constraining, I mean it will reduce the possibilities for that neighbor tile that it could be, and then it branches out to its other neighbors, and it keeps constraining it until we find something that it can fit. So let's look at an example real quick. All right, so I ended up using this as an example within Aspirite, so I'll be showing that through there. I'm probably gonna use something else, but this works for now. So right now I'm in this current tower right now, right? And these are all the possibilities that this tower can be. So let's pretend that it ended up being this tile down here, right? So this is the tile that that is selected for this tile. It will check its neighbor NT for neighbor tile, and it will check the east side of this tile, the current tile. So the east side of that neighbor tile, it will check the possibilities of all of that and figure out what fits with this tile that's on this side, right? So we go to the first one, that doesn't fit with that one, right? So it's not going to be there. And it checks the water tile, and that doesn't fit with that one, right? It will check the dirt tile only, and that doesn't really fit with that one either. It will check the grass, that doesn't fit there as well. It will check this other coastline, that's not going to fit there. And it checks this other different coastline as well, and that doesn't fit. And then we check this one, and this one does fit next to the east side of this tile. And as you can see, it fits, so it will choose this one, right? So like, yeah, so that works for that tile. If I were to, let's pretend it selected this tile here, it would then go through the possibilities that this tile has, and we'll check to see what fits in that one. So we're checking this one right now, and we check to all the possibilities that the neighbor tile can be, and say, hey, we check this one, it does fit, right? Because this basically is curving, and it fits perfectly to be here. So this is a possibility. This one here, this doesn't fit. This one doesn't fit. grass only does not fit. Grass to dirt does not fit to the side. I mean, this is also a coastline, but it doesn't fit on the east side of this tile. So that doesn't go there. And then this last one here is another, the coastline of the same one. So basically that can also fit. So we've got two different possibilities. So that's all what it's gonna have. So this has two possibilities, and then it will check this other name or this tile and it'll do the same. And then that's basically the process of this algorithm until he chooses a tile that actually fits there. And that's pretty cool. So I'm probably gonna undo this later on. But that's basically what the wave function collapse is doing. He selects a random tile, and then it starts constraining its neighbors of all the possibilities of that tiles, all the tiles that can be in that location. So cool. So I created this one here that I have, and it's, it looks pretty cool, right? I think as I'm able to see through this stuff here, one issues that I have with this one here is that, I mean, this looks pretty cool. Maybe it's a little bit too much water, and maybe sections like this I don't really like. But the other problem is that if I were to spawn in this location, there's no way to get out, right? Because the trees are blocking it, and you're not able to get in any direction, right? Unless, if I were able to remove trees and all of that, which maybe I will be able to. Maybe that's a possibility. If I was on top of here, there's ways to get out of here if I fit there. I don't know if I actually fit in this section here. I may not be able to fit with the collision of this one here. But let's see if I did. I can go through all of this stuff, go through here, and basically just starts roaming around. That's basically it. Like there's like trees that can be blocking the areas for this algorithm, and I can reduce the amount of trees, but then that starts looking, no, it's gonna look too plain. I do like the amount of trees on here, maybe a little tiny bit less. And yeah, maybe I just have to keep working and messing around with the values until I find something that's similar. But let's generate a new one. I'm most likely going to speed this up, and you see that in faster iteration. But let's generate the map, and you start seeing, hey, start generating all these trees. Trying to see if I can stable. I cannot. I forgot how I ended up adding that in there. Maybe this one here. Anyway, so as you can see, it starts generating, and it's generating all these tiles in here. It most likely can do this a little bit faster if I wasn't delaying it, so that I can show it to you guys. So it's doing it, and it's showing you the tiles that it's selecting for this. And it looks pretty cool as it's selecting. So let's speed this up and see how it looks at the end. All right. So it created this a grassland or forest like, right? And yeah, it kind of works. But like I mentioned before, there's just like things that can block you from actually going to this, to be able to explore this other side. I mean, maybe eventually I can have trees, like I mentioned before, if you ever cut down trees and all of that, and that will work. But as of right now, I don't see this as working. But for the type of procedural generation that I want in the outside world, I think that what's gonna be cool with this, and I can still use it, is gonna be for dungeon generations or cave generations. This is a possibility that can work, and I can see this working. That's gonna be fine. So I know there's different ways or different types of algorithms that you can use for cave generation or dungeon generation, right? But this is an option that I can use, and it's already implemented in the game. So I can choose the type of tiles that I want to have here. Another thing that I can do here as well is that for each of the tiles that are here, it has its own weights, right? So it has an option of selecting certain tiles more than others. And I think I selected it to show more of a forest-like type of generation. So I can most likely change this to be different, but I already tested it out, and I don't really see this working. Feel free to let me know in the comments if anybody has used wave function collapse or a world generation, where it does like an infinite type. I mean, it doesn't have to be infinite, but it does like a world generation. Like wave function collapse, it works if you have a certain style that's going to work for that certain level, confined level, right? But if I wanted to create something that's a little bit more of a world, that there's different variations happening in different areas, maybe I just need to do more manual tweaking to this to make that work. But feel free to let me know in the comments, and let me know if anybody has done this wave function collapse outer world procedural generation that's not dungeons or anything like that. It's just outside world that has variation of the type of biomes and all of that. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you know anybody or if you're one of those people. I would love to know what your thoughts are on that. But the more that you add to this wave function collapse to the rules and all of that, it starts getting more difficult, and maybe you can have certain scenarios where it cannot finish generating the world because it just doesn't fit. So the more rules that you add to it, the more, you know, the more problems that you're gonna have. So like for this works for dungeons, so this is why I mentioned that when I start doing dungeons, I can use this functionality, this code that I created, to be able to do that. So I will test that when that day comes, when it comes to doing dungeon generation. But cool. I think the main point now is be able to go back to what I did before with the height maps and be able to tweak that a little bit more. And that'll be the plan that I'll be working on. So either I'll come back later on today or I'll just come back tomorrow on Saturday morning and be able to talk about what's the plan for the other height map. Cool. All right then, guys. I'll talk to you guys then. All right then, guys. It is Saturday morning. Hope you guys are doing great, doing wonderful on this day. I'm excited to continue with this procedural generation today. I did ended up taking in a break yesterday. I ended up playing with some friends Call of Duty and ended up playing some games there and just taking a break from this. It's good to take some breaks, guys, and just, you know, let your brain rest for a bit. But cool. Up to the plan for today, it's going to be to work on the procedural generation with the height maps and all of that, and be able to basically tweak it a little bit more, or I can have more of a predefined sections. Let's say I want to create a section, or like when it's generating this procedural generation, I'll be able to have some properties I can add, like, hey, I want more water, or I want more land, or I want islands in this area, and all of that, and be able to use that, maybe incorporate some weights into it, and be able to modify this noise map or height map to be able to do that basically. So that's the plan for today, and that's what I want to do. So let's get started, guys. Let's go. All right then, guys, it is Saturday evening. I spent most of the day today trying to modify this height map and trying to figure out how I want this to happen. Maybe there's some sections where I want it to be more islands and other sections to be more of land and all of that, and incorporating some weights that I can modify this noise texture. I was able to create this cool island type of scenario. Like, look at it, it has a little path on top of that. Wonder what stuff is gonna be on top of here. I'm excited to see that. And create some paths. I mean, eventually you can be able to swim, right? Want to add that functionality, so you're able to swim, go through these other islands. I think that's pretty sweet. I mean, it doesn't have to be islands. This could be like a huge, like, lake scenario. I know I have sand in here. Probably gonna be changing that depending on the biome or the area that you're in. If it's like a beach area or it's gonna be a lake area. But I still don't have those assets yet. I mean, I could have used dirt. The weights that I added for this one is that this one will be more of like an island area or island look, and that's what I wanted to be like, and I'm liking it. I added some trees in here. Like you see, there's not like a crazy amount of trees everywhere, which is what I like about this generation a little bit more. But cool, I think this is the plan, to be able to use this and be able to keep modifying it a little bit more as I keep going, and be able to create like a pretty sweet procedural generation for this game. But, you know, this looks like, you know, put in the comments if you know what this looks like this top island up here. I'm seeing something here. I wanted to see if you guys see what I'm seeing, so feel free to post in the comments and see if you see like a type of animal up here on top. That's actually pretty sweet. It's a closer look to it. Yeah, that's awesome. Anyways, cool. So you can generate other ones as well. So if I were to generate this other one here, so this looks a little bit more filled. There's more lakes around. There's more dirt. It's pretty cool. Let's generate one more. So right now what I'm doing is just changing the seed and be able to create this cool stuff here. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Another thing that I was thinking about, because right now it doesn't do it, is be able to change grass into dirt if you're able to use the hoe or something. Let's say you use the hoe a couple times on the dirt and then it turns into soil. That's actually an option that I can do as well. So maybe I can make it less dirt, or you can make grass into dirt if you want to. Let's say you select an area where you want your land to be at, where you can be doing your crops and farming and all that kind of stuff. So there will be more grass, but you can change the grass to be dirt. That's an option that I'm thinking. Feel free to let me know the thoughts on the things that I say in videos, and feel like, hey, that's a pretty cool idea as well. Feel free to let me know in the comments, and then definitely I'll be reading them. But yeah, I do like this a little bit more. I like to know. Let's see, let's change it so that it's more open, like island look, like I did earlier. This the version that I added at, it makes it so there's more lakes into it, but this one that's more of an island look. I added this generation, so there's more islands are going around here. If I were to regenerate that again, this the weights I added so that I can be like, I want more of a lake, more of an island look. I can choose this one. So let's generate one more. There we go. See, it creates this cool type of generation. There's a bunch of islands going on. If this is the type of feature that we want, so that it like can be more islands in certain scenarios of the levels. Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, so this is basically what I've been working on, and be able to fine tune this a little bit more into what I want. I think the next step right now is be able to lay out a certain area where I want things that I want to be in that level for sure. So let's say I want this village that it needs to be there, and be able to generate around that village. I want to see how I'm going to be able to do that. I think the plan, what I'm thinking right now, is be able to lay out the village first, and then as it's generating, if there's already a tile that's already generated for it already, I'm gonna ignore it and see how that's gonna look. But that's something that can be done for next time, guys. So this is the final update that I have for you guys for this week. But we're gonna continue doing the procedural generation for next week as well. Hope you guys do enjoy this a little bit more. I have enjoyed this procedural generation as I'm going through this process and trying to figure out what kind of generation I want to have in this game and be able to implement that into the game. Cool. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to give it a thumbs up and like the video, subscribe if you guys enjoyed this video and want to continue following on my journey on making this game that I have here. And so far it's looking great, and it's getting there, right? Cool. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, and I'll see you guys next week. All right then, guys, signing out.